morning, good afternoon, and good evening for another very special of Diary of a Double. This is the year-long journey of Antonio Argüelles to swim from England to France and then back from France to England, 67 kilometers at night and in the cold. Welcome, Antonio.
Buenos días, buenas tardes, buenas noches, wherever you are watching or seeing us. It's a pleasure. Steven,
Yes.
3 weeks for the window. 3
Yes.
weeks for the window.
Taper. It's taper time.
Taper time. Taper time. Well, you know, Steven, you know, I don't like Boris Johnson. I don't know if you like Boris Johnson. But I have to say, Boris Johnson is really trying to keep the British economy going. And now with the COVID test, you know how much we have to pay for the test and release? £200 per person.
Oh, wow.
Another 80 for day 2 and day 8. So just to get into the country, it's going to be almost $400.
Wow.
So yeah, huge economy. Yes, very expensive.
But
very expensive.
The good thing is now you can actually get into the country and do your swim. We were worried about that.
Yeah, we were worried about that, Stephen. And you know, I have a second life. That you know me, I'm a pirate. So I was thinking how to enter undercover the British shores. You know, I that would have been fun to do it, but then I might get into trouble. So I don't want to be like, you know, this Mexican didn't go over the Rio Bravo. He went over to the Dover.
Blackbeard.
Yeah. He didn't swim over. That's a good one. That's a good line. He came back swimming into England.
Yeah. So one thing we haven't done all year long, is actually discuss what you all did together. And we've talked about your physical training. We talked about your 24-hour workout. We talked about your mental training. We talked about the warm-up that you do with your coach. We talked about your kayakers, Dan Simonelli and others. But we haven't actually put it all together. And if you had to describe to someone, what did I do in 10 minutes to prepare for this event, what would you tell them?
Okay, number one, I decided I wanted to swim again. I had a big crisis last year, and I remember I told you that I wasn't sure I wanted to do it. So first of all, I decided I wanted to swim. Number two, Rafa and I set priorities of what we wanted out of the season. Number one is I didn't want to be injured. In the past, injuries have been bothering me a lot, especially my shoulders. So we decided we were going to do a lot of strength exercises. Number two, we decided I had to improve my kicking and my body position in the water. If we wanted to go for over 24 hours, we had to, you know, gain all the seconds we could at every stroke. And number three, I had to talk to Jaime, my mental coach, so we could design a new routine. Because my old mental routine was getting old, and I explained to you a little bit more what that means. So when we started swimming, we decided we were going to have 5 big macro cycles. And I would say, Stephen, that there were some heavy mileage, yardage, kilometers in the fall and the beginning of the year. Rafa loves this workout. Instead of the 100 100s, it's 10 1000s, and that's a killer. I mean, that's something that really takes a lot out of the swimmer. Then we had these long swims in Las Estacas and in the ocean. And you remember one day I went all the way to 7 hours. And so there was a combination of a lot of mileage. Then something that I never did as a long distance swimmer in the pool is changing bases. A lot of sets going 12.5 full blast and then recover 25, or 12.5 by 12.5, and that I would go like 3 800s like that. And believe me, after those, you just have no arms, and that's something that we worked a lot. And then kicking, a lot of kick work and a lot of techniques with Ricardo Duron, putting a lot of attention on my body position and how I was pulling. So that was the water. And then Hell Week, that we talk about Hell Week, then the 24 hours, which was another main event. And then last week, the last cold swims in San Francisco, which I have to say, Stephen, that I miss Suzanne's cookies. You know, our political enemies just kept us apart. So I couldn't get my cookies. She got her caps. I didn't get my cookies. So I hope the next time I'll get my cookies. And,
you will. I owe you.
So that was the swimming. Then
let me ask just confirm. So you actually swam, from what I can gather, 6 main places. So Aquatic Park, La Jolla, Las Estacas, Acapulco, your pool, or I would say pools, various pools, correct? I mean, sometimes you were in Mexico City, sometimes you're in other places,
yes.
Correct? Was there any other place that you did in general?
No, just those.
Okay. So you had a wide variety of waters that you trained in, rivers, pools, some cold pools. Remember, you did the cold pools and you did the regular pools.
I was thinking about that this morning. During the winter, I was swimming at 15 degrees Celsius in a pool. In a pool, 15 degrees. And it was not only that, this pool is up in the mountains in Mexico City, so even higher. That was a friend of mine went with me to one of those workouts, and after I finished, the comment was, "You really look dead. Did you smile after the swim? You were happy." Yes, I was dead. I mean, it was totally dead. That day I had to do 10,000 and the pool was 15 degrees. I can't remember it. It was a hard workout. So that was the water. Then we did strength along with physical. How do you call it when you do with your, like, the planks and how do you call that?
When you hold your position?
Yes.
Isometric.
We were doing 2 days weights and 2 days isometrics. As a matter of fact, we still do weights. I mean, I did weights on Friday, and we're gonna continue doing isometrics and weights until the end of the day before swimming, and you know, that helped a lot, Stephen. You know, that I feel very strong. I mean, probably I've never been as strong as I've been. Not even when I swam. I mean, when I swam, we had these weights programs. I don't know if you and Suzanne can think about what we did. It was the bicep, the triceps, the bench presses. I mean, a lot of crap that it didn't go towards swimming. And Rafa's weight program is everything has to do with swimming. And you know, one thing that I do a lot for my core. I mean, we do a lot of exercises for the core, and either isometrics or with weights, we do a lot for the core. That's something that has been very important for me as well. And the best example is that I haven't been injured. Mm-hmm. No single day have I felt that my shoulders were going bad. And then the third thing was the mental training. And you know what happened with mental training is when you do your mental work many times, you start losing efficiency because you know the way. I mean, you lose concentration. For example, the pearl is something that I don't do anymore because it's very easy. I mean, it doesn't help me. So now that's how we brought on the dragons, because the dragons, now what I do is I do dragons along with qigong, or I do dragons with spirals. So you have to be really concentrated to be able to do both things at a time and swim, and that helps me a lot. I mean, for some reason, it does two things for me. Number one, it keeps me warm, and number two, it relaxes me a lot. A friend of ours, Miguel Melendez, you know what he told me the other day, Suzanne, Dan, both of them know him. I said, what do you mean? Yeah, you relaxed so much and your stroke was so fluid. But when I was looking at your eyes, you were just gone. I was doing qigong and dragons at the time. So that and the other thing is, one thing that the fourth thing that has happened this year is I've been very happy doing what I do. I created these characters. I'm doing the podcast. We've done the films. So that has kept me very motivated as well.
You also received your Guinness World Records, another one. You have a mariachi band in place. You've got everything.
Yes, I was telling Suzanne that she needs to start getting in line for Guinness records. I mean, she's getting to that age that you can do it, Suzanne. I mean, you're not wearing that category of I have a friend of mine, and we went swimming one day and went to the police to swim, and the pool at the police station, and they said that the old guy who's with you. And the guy at the door said, yes, the old guy that comes with you. We wait for him here. So the other day that I told him I got a Guinness for being the oldest person, I said, well, now you know who's the oldest person.
That's great. That's great. And you have all your so the other thing, you have your logistics. So you've got all your crew going. You had to work through COVID. You have all your food and drink and everything ready. You have the rubber glove to put on the landline at the French shoreline. So you had to also deal with all these other details.
Yes. You know what it was probably about the hardest part has been the confinement that you have to go when you get to England. I was expecting to have the rules change on Thursday, but they just changed it for UK citizens. So the rest of the world has to abide. And then I thought the US was on the green list, and the US, no, it's not on the green list. The US is the same as Mexico on the amber list. So you have to take 3 tests. A test on day 2, something called test to release on day 5. So if you are negative on those 2 tests, then you can stop the quarantine. And then even if you are tested negative, you have to do another one, on day 8. And the way, I bought my ticket in at the end of September, beginning of October. So when these rules change, now I have to leave for Dover on Wednesday. I moved my flight 1 week to be able to have enough time to do the quarantine. Supposedly I will have to be in my room for 5 days without swimming. And then I'll have about 10 days until my window starts. But that has been, but the good thing about the confinement, Stephen, this is good news. You have to find good news in everything. I mean, you can't be all bad. Since I will not be able to come down to the restaurant, I have ordered wine, and I will drink my wine, the wine that I like, in my room, and I won't have to pay mortgage, and I'll have the ones that I want. So I was very happy when I realized that. I realized that last night. Wow. So I got a list this morning from a friend of mine in London who is in the wine club. So I'm going to order my wines. So that's a good news. That's a good news. And I the next time any of you guys go to London, you got to go and eat at a place called, it's the greatest place for sticky toffee pudding. And I remember the name, Rowley's, it's on Jeremy Street, Rowley's. And they you can eat all the fries you want with Bernadette sauce and meat. Oh, Stephen, it's so good. I already have reservation for the 28th. 28th at 1:30 at the table that I like. They have a table that overlooks at the street, so I'm gonna be sitting there. I'll take a picture and I'll show you guys. So yes, I'm ready on that front as well. We're leaving on Wednesday at 11 o'clock p.m. and I'll be arriving on Thursday around 3:30 in London.
I remember when I was training with a bunch of Olympians, we would finish each workout, and the coach would say, when you hit the wall and you win the gold medal, or you set a world record, what are you going to act? How are you going to act? Are you going to do this? Are you going to point up to the stands? What are you going to do? So my question to you is, when you get on the shores, back on the shores in Shakespeare Beach, and you hear the mariachi music, what are you going to do that day, and what are you going to do that next week? We have to plan for success.
That day, the first thing I'm going to do when I walk out is take my cap off and my goggles, because I've been wearing them for a long time, and probably I want to feel the freedom of not having the cap. Number two is there's going to be number two. We have 5 to go, so it'll be number 2. So it's not victory, so you know it's number 2, because we have another 5 here. Then I'm probably gonna walk, and most probably Lucia, Jimena, and Rene and my other friends will be there. So I hope each one has a corona on their hands, and I'll be past a corona and an herradura blanco, so we'll drink to that, and we'll listen to some of the songs that we like with mariachis. I have to be careful, so I'm probably going to sit down, because the last night for being up all the time, I fainted. So that I have to be, you know. You remember how Sarah Thomas looked when she finished? I mean, she was just sitting there. So I would probably be sitting. Because if I do the same thing that I did when I finished Hawaii, I'm gonna be gone. And then that day we're going to have a big dinner, and then I'll be dead and go to bed. And I'll be up next morning around 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock. What's going to be in my bloodstream, Stephen? I can't remember what you told me. That's not. It's not adrenaline. What's going to be happening?
Lactate.
It's
the thing that makes you tired and sore.
Yes, and the other thing that keeps you awake. What is it?
Adrenaline.
No. There's another one that you told me, Stephen. That when you have like a stress. That when you.
Oh yes.
Serotonin.
Serotonin. Exactly. Serotonin. So my serotonin will be all over me, and then we're leaving the day after that to London for 1 or 2 nights, and then I'm gonna be while in Dover in quarantine. I will be 25. I'll have my 25th anniversary, marriage anniversary.
Okay.
So great. She is very quarantine. So make up to her. We're going to Paris and to Bordeaux for 2 weeks.
Oh wow! Oh, that's great.
Yeah, she as much as I love California and the States, she loves Paris and France. She studied at La Sorbonne, so we're gonna go and go to her favorite place in the country. You know, she speaks French fluently and loves the French culture. So we're going to France.
Oh, great. And of course, you have to be taking the media interviews with all the Mexican press and press around the world too. So work that into your schedule.
Yeah, that's going to happen. But you know, you never know what to expect. I mean, there can be a lot or there can be few, and so I just take them as they come.
Yeah. Now, remember, you also have the Guinness World Record people coming.
Yes, we're gonna get them on the picture with the tequila.
Yeah.
I hope they don't mind that we have tequila. I hope they don't get disturbed that a Guinness World Record holder is drinking after the swim. I hope they're open-minded about that.
Yeah. That's great. Anyone, Dan or anybody have questions?
No, the only thing is just getting into the country, you know, because I'm sort of under. I thought they were going to just open it up for Ireland on the 19th, but I don't know.
No, they will. I was expecting the same thing, Suzanne, and I think one of the biggest problems they have. I mean, I've read, if you go into the NHS page, and I've read a lot of the things that they have there. they have like rules like 1, 2, 3, 4, you know, just everything. But one of the problems that they have is that they cannot supervise who are vaccinated or not. So they'll have to find a way in which they can, at least the States has a system, but not every country has a system where they have databases where people can go and show which vaccine they've used. So I think what I'm reading, the way I read it with a political and a government mentality is that they don't know how to enforce or supervise the people who are from abroad if they are vaccinated or not. I mean, that's the number one question. And the second thing, Suzanne, is you need to, I wish I could send you the place that I found. I will send you anyway to see, it's because it's nationwide, and I know they have it in Ireland, because not every clinic can do the testing for foreigners. There are 4 clinics around Dover, and all of them are only for UK citizens. So I had to find somewhere where they did it for foreigners. And believe it or not, I'm having trouble getting a date. I already have 2 out of the 3. I already have 2 of the dates. I can't get the third because they're sold out. So that's a big issue. That's a big issue, and I would recommend I'll send you the link to the NHS page. And the other thing that you can do is you can request that they send you an email with all the changes, so you are kept up to date of what's going on. And
Okay.
when are you leaving? When are you leaving for Ireland?
25th.
Of July?
Mhm.
Yeah. So you're just about on time. And then the other thing you need to do is to fill out the form. And you know, Steven, I couldn't.
No, but I know I have to do that.
A friend of mine is already in Dover, and you know that they came to see if she was at the hotel.
Wow.
She was staying at an Airbnb, so they came to visit her and see if she was there, and they called every day.
Wow.
So that's yeah. You know what, Suzanne? Once I get into England, I'll be there on Thursday. Let's just message each other, and I will tell you how's everything going, how I am leaving each one step by step, so you can take note and be prepared for your arrival.
Okay, I got it. I'm writing it down.
Okay. Dan, do you have anything? Okay.
I have one more question for Antonio. Are you doing your own feeds? Do you put together your own feeds and your food that you're eating, or do you have someone else that is going to kind of take care of that? Or do you just, how do you do it?
The only thing I do is swim.
Okay.
I have 4 people on at least 4 people are going to be on the boat, and one of them, my doctor, she's in charge of the feeding.
So she's actually putting your feeds together. Okay.
Yeah. And she's the one who developed the formula, 375 milliliters of water with that 1 axle gel, and then we have warm water. That's all. Yeah, warm water because that's something that you need. But she does that all the time.
Okay. Cool.
All right, Dan, do you have anything?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask about the, you had mentioned, Antonio, if you could elaborate on the, when you said you combined the dragon visualization with your Qigong, and when you do them at the same time, how that enhances your concentration.
Because it narrows my field of vision. So when I do Qigong, you've seen me do that.
Yeah.
Qigong is just moving my arms and rolling over and doing different exercises. And I can do that in my mind by now very easy and just swim. When I do dragons, I have to do Qigong, then have the dragons in front of me, and I need to talk to the dragons, get the fire, move the fire in my body, bring it down to my belly. Then I have to get the second dragon to do the same thing. I have to combine those two, do circles in the pan with lava. At the same time, do Qigong and swim. So my mind is, I mean, I have to be super concentrated. I cannot think about anything else, because if I do, I'm gonna miss it.
And for how long do you do that stretch each, the 30 minutes?
Yeah, I can't do it more than 30 minutes.
Yeah.
See that? Remember when we did it? You know, Rafa, remember we did everything goes in half an hour. My feeding is half an hour, and my swim, whatever I do swimming is half hours. So we just go in segments of half hour.
Thank you.
All right. Well, Antonio, you have you have 2 more weeks in Mexico or 1 more week in Mexico?
No, I'm leaving on Wednesday, next Wednesday.
Wednesday. Okay, so you're less than a week.
Less than a week. I have to start making my bag, because I have a bag for Dover, and then I have a bag for vacation. So that's I have to make those 2 bags. I have to finish work, which is, you know, it's complicated. The end of the school year is coming, so we have to, you know, fight a lot of things. But I'm very happy, Steven. I'm ready to go. Rafa asked me on Friday when we had a workout. We had a very good workout, and he says, "You can go and swim tomorrow, don't you?" I said, "Yes, I'm ready. I wish I was there. It was tomorrow, and I could swim tomorrow. I'm all ready. I'm already happy, and the next time, our next show is gonna be directly from Dover.
Great.
But you know, one of the things you have to be able to take whatever life gives you. Remember when I told you guys that the city that I hate the most of Ocean 7, the one I didn't want to be at for a long time. So now I have to go for 1 more week to Dover. I mean, how exciting it is. But anyway, that's what it takes.
All right. Well, we'll see you in Dover.
Okay, I'll transfer from Dover. Bye-bye.
Bye.